Hey. All right, guys, let's take a look at a collective message for the 11/11 energy flow. All right. So, kind of an exciting day just because we do have, this is a 1 year and this is January the 11th. So, you put all those together and everything breaks down to 11/11. So, with that in mind, let's see what we've got here. Now, this could be a time of great alignment. This could be a time to pay close attention to thoughts that come in at a specific, moment in time. Like if the clock is looking like 11:11, what thoughts are going on in a character's mind. We have Two of Cups and we have Four of Cups. There could be a moment that flickers through the atmosphere today where, in regards specifically to a love story, we could have a divine feminine who kind of feels like a flood or a rush of, like, oh, I feel a moment of sorrow. I could also see her bored, or I could also see her feeling like something is a bit of an illusion, or wondering if something's an illusion. Let me see. And I'm literally feeling like that rush of air. If you've ever stood like in a metro line or something, and that the trains like push the air through. We see this tunnel that's open, and I'm feeling like a rush of air that's coming out through a tunnel. That could be like somebody could be like exhaling swiftly, or someone could be standing by a metro line and having that rush of air come at them. It's because with the perspective card, which is the Hanged Man in any other deck, and it is in the reverse, it says, I really feel like today is a day that I'd like to just have maybe an answer. I'd like to have no more perpetual waiting. I'd like to, especially if this is a love story and it's somebody that I've been waiting on. I'm hearing Chances by the Strokes. I waited on you, I waited for you, but now I don't. That could be a divine feminine's energy today. It doesn't have to be a female, right? That could be masculine in divine feminine energy. But we have the Devil, and it's in the reverse. Devil in the reverse is the energy of, I don't want to hold on to anything if it seems like it's making me toxic. If something is making me feel sad, maybe this is a time to let it go. I'm not saying it's right or that it's wrong, but I personally am learning to say, don't do things that only bring you stress and grief and tension to such an extent that it hypes you up. If you can't unstress yourself, and it's just for me, I'm speaking about, but if I can't unstress myself around a topic by thinking through it logically, if I say, okay, let me ask myself, am I amping this up for no good reason? Or is this something that I really, it's too much pressure. It is, lowering my quality of life to such a huge extent, then maybe I need to go ahead and say, I don't want to do this anymore. Whether it's, sometimes it's hard to step away from something. Like for me, I will not house sit for anybody because it stresses me out so bad. And that stress is never going to go away because I care about other people's houses more than I'll care about my own. And I can't get any sleep, and I'm always worried something will happen because they've entrusted me with like everything they own. So no, I will not house sit. Nope, you got to ask somebody else. It stresses me out too much to do that for people. That's something once I learned to say no, and I made that decision to myself, my life got better. There are certain things that if we really don't ever want to do something, then don't do it. If that is the way this love story has started to feel for a divine feminine, she may be saying, I have to take the toxicity out of it, which might mean I have to step away from it. Now, this could simply mean she has to change her mindset around it. Why is there a time frame? Why is it like I feel like I'm waiting? Let me not feel like I'm waiting on it anymore. And that it doesn't mean she lets this go or says, oh, let me just tell myself this love story is an illusion because I'm sick of waiting on it. Let me instead say, I may feel the way I feel, but let me not say that I have to wait on it. Let me say, so I love this person. That sometimes is our truth. Let me even say, and I know that they love me, but if they're not in my life right now, then they may not be in my life right now. Let it not become a toxic thing that perpetually makes me feel like I'm hanging around or being stuck waiting. Now, easier said than done, perhaps, because what does that mean? I'm not even sure that we're on the right path yet with this, though. Let's keep going and get a few more cards out. That Devil in the reverse says she's going to free herself from tension, right? We have the Nine of Wands sideways. We have the Queen of Swords upright, and she is graduating today, and she is cutting herself free from something. And I would say it's free from the stress or feeling like I'm still working through things, trying to heal from things. I think this is her, and maybe even battling, because I feel like she felt all the time like she had to fight for something. And how do you fight for something that isn't even like present, right? So I could see her making this decision on this 11/11 day that I don't have to feel like I'm fighting for somebody who's keeping me waiting. Instead, what does that mean? There's an instead, but I don't know what the instead is. We have the Nine of Crystals or Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, and we have the Soul, which is the Fool card, in the upright. Okay, so we have her able to maybe say, I was making myself feel like I somehow was less than because I was sitting around waiting for somebody. That's the wrong way for me to look at this. I actually think this was what was causing her some grief or some heartbreak, is that she felt, maybe it was even like punishing herself, saying, I feel foolish that here I am sitting around waiting for somebody and they're not there for me. Instead, this is her saying, no, I'm having a reset button moment. So this 11/11 is a really great day. It's a reset button for how a divine feminine looks at the way she feels about someone, about what seems like a divine love story. You know, she certainly has felt like it was a divine counterpart with that Two of Cups. What does that mean for her, having that reset button? How is she going to see it differently now? Queen of Wands. She's going to own it and be like, oh yeah, like I fall in love with whoever I fall in love with. If I love somebody, I can openly own that and be like, of course, that's a beautiful thing I'm able to do. I'm able to say I love somebody. That was my choice. I made the choice to love them because of the things that I fell for, the things that I saw in them. That was awesome. I did fall in love with them. That being said, when we own it, like I did it because I wanted to, not necessarily because I'm so sure that I'll get everything back that I wanted, but I can love who I want. Oh God, what's that song? Don't tell me what to do. I'll love you forever if I want to. It's a country song. I can't think who sings it, but it feels like, hey, I'm doing the thing that I need to do, and I'll always live according to my own heart's guidelines and rules. Now she's kind of jolly about it. Instead of being stressed, instead of punishing herself, instead of feeling like she's stuck waiting, she's like, I'm waiting for nothing. I freely can announce when I love somebody, I love that. She kind of has, I'm not saying that you've diminished the feeling of love into the example I'm about to use, but I'm going to say that the happy energy that she gets off of this could be the same thing. If I said, I don't care what anybody says, I love lime jello with grated carrots and raisins in it. I love it. I said it. I don't care. My opinion stands. It's valid for me. It doesn't matter that nobody else wants to eat that. I love it. And we can just own that. There is some kind of that's basically what she's saying. I don't care if I got nothing back from that relationship, or if, whatever happened. I loved them because that's who I am. And that's what my taste buds enjoyed. I loved them, and I can own that. And it doesn't matter what the outcome is. It was just about me stating my preference. And I feel like when she takes power back and can look at it like that, now she's like, yeah, so I loved them. Still love them. So what? Doesn't stop my life from turning. In fact, I'm living a jolly good life, and I'm always going to go ahead and honestly admit to myself how I feel. I would say that our divine feminine she just got really powerful today, because she is, authentically able to say who she is, what she is, how it is. So really great energy there. Okay, let's take a look at how is the 11/11 portal possibly impacting, we'll say the divine masculine, just because that looked like the divine feminine. But do bear in mind, I'm not talking about men versus women. We all have yin yang energy within us in different, varying amounts, depending on what scenario we're in. So I'm just looking at maybe I should have just said the counterpart. We have a 3 of cups and we have a 10 of cups. So a divine masculine is thinking very much about happiness during this 11-11. They're thinking about the fact that actually being with another person seems to be the thing that would make them happiest at this moment. We have the World, we have the Ace of Cups, we have the 7 of Wands slightly tilted, but obviously I would say if he knows that the thing that would make him really, really happy is togetherness, is romance, is giving his heart to someone, starting afresh and doing things differently, and yet that's also been perhaps his obstacle. He's actually looking at that. Why, when this is what I would want, why is that something? Well, let me ask, what is your obstacle? Justice. What's the justice about? Because this says something's been really wrong. Do you feel like you got done wrong, or do you feel like you did somebody else wrong? Or is it just like the obstacle to ever having like a really solid romance is, like when we make mistakes and then our hearts get hard and it's like, I trusted them and then they caused me grief and that was unfair. I'm not sure. Oh, Death card, 6 of Wands. This says like he's reflecting on the greatest enemy of a good love story is, in this case, the ego, because this can be about pride, that makes you walk away from the very person you want, which is a great song, no matter who sings it, if it's Brooks and Dunn or if it's Neil Diamond. Pride, I believe, is the chief cause for the decline in the numbers of husbands and wives. I believe pride is the chief cause for the decline. So he's saying, if something goes wrong, then I drop it. And then that's the end. I'm still trying to figure out with the Justice card. Can we clarify that a little bit further on your thoughts? Queen of Wands, which is so very interesting because remember, that was our divine feminine. So this could be 2 people that is very specific, about 2 people. I was looking at first for the more broad perspective, but it looks like we're telling the story of 2 individual people that have interacted in this story after all. The Queen of Wands, she's upright, which doesn't sound like you're making her to be the villain. So instead, is this somebody who loved you that you feel things got crazy with? 2 of Swords, they started to block her. Why did you block her? This says that they feel like this was unfair. They blocked her, even though she was loving. The Star, I said, why did you block her? And they said something along the lines of either they blocked the exact person that they most wanted to be with because she was their wish fulfillment. It seemed too good to be true. The Star is distant. I mean, maybe this was a long distance relationship and it was, eating them alive. Chariot in the reverse could say, I couldn't get to her. She was too far away. So I just walked away. Why couldn't you get to her? 7 of Cups, King of Wands upright, but the 7 of Cups is sideways. He's saying I would have had to like completely step into her world, abandoning my own. And I didn't know how to do that. Maybe it's like, I didn't know how to tell her that that's what it would require. Like, there's no way I can either. This could have been a divine masculine who was like, look, if it's going to be long distance, I'm going to have to find the time, the money, the way to like date her from afar. And I don't see how that's going to happen. I can't keep that up. But then the alternative would be like, I would have to literally move into her world. But I'm going to bring that up and ask her, hey, can I just move in with you so we can be together? It could be like he didn't know, because this says I didn't know, even though I kind of did know what it would take. I would have to become the full-blown King of Wands. And I didn't know that she really wanted me in that way. So I just pulled back from her. And actually, the thing is, why'd you block her? Because the 2 of Swords says you blocked her. Queen of Cups. I didn't want her to then, it's almost like, keep in mind, there's a ton of pride here, okay? Because that's 6 of Wands. I didn't want her to say, no, let's make this work. Let me give you a place to live, even though, oh my God, there's so much. Okay, so he didn't want to be somebody's, what he would perceive as like, what if I'm their pity person? I want to be with her. There's all these significant distances, problems. There's no way that I can come into her world and be beside her unless I literally abandon my world and come into hers. But I can't set it up like that because that would make me look weak, like I'm asking her to basically give me a soft landing space, even though that's the only way that I could see us being together. But then on top of it, my pride certainly won't allow me to then have her specifically ask me to come and offer me something, because I'm definitely not going to accept, you know, her opening up the door to me and saying, you know, come live with me. I have stability, rearrange your life and come live in mine. It's like, even though that was the only way that this might have really worked, that's also the thing he was too proud to like bring up or let her bring up, even though it would have been in both their minds that why can't we just do this? So I think he pushed away a love story, not because he didn't want to be with her, but because of all the changes it would have required in life and that amount of ego. So instead, he pushed away the person that he loved for a senseless reason, absolute senseless reason. You know, I mean, who cares? Like in the adult world, we'll reinvent our lives many, many times. We'll move, we'll, you know, have to find new jobs, but moving for love and then reestablishing ourselves, of course, whomever has the, you know, the wisest location to come and build. It's like, well, you live in a less expensive area, so of course I'm going to move to be with you. That should just be, it doesn't matter like, no, I'm the masculine, I can't move to be with the feminine and then have to find a new job and then technically feel like I'm living off of her while I'm reestablishing myself. Who cares? This was a love story. They should have been in it to win it together, but that's just not the way his mind was working. And I think he tried to come in and out of her life and it was not working. I think it was too, you know, it felt like that was wrecking the connection also, because now it feels like, oh, I don't really care to be there with that Knight of Wands. We have the Fool. It would have had to be all in or all out, and he chose all out. And that's what he's contemplating, even though that it's exactly what he didn't want to have happen. I can't believe this, but I think we have to take this to another part 2. Sorry, guys, I'm not trying to do 2-parters today. It's just I can't let these videos get too long. So I'll see you guys in part 2. There will be a free link right there in the description box. Bye.